We are going to create a very simple detail section of the bar. And so you had some example images of finished sections. So we're working towards this. So really getting you to think about how the actual piece goes together, along with other things like ergonomics and things like that. So again, you're working towards this. We don't expect you to have this done. We expect you to have thought about it and made a valid attempt and have questions, because you should have questions about how it goes together, and doing a drawing like this or beginning a drawing like this helps us ask the questions that we need to get answered eventually. So in that process, what I would also recommend that you do is just start to find some materials, like you do, that you're interested in using, and then look up those material manufacturers and see if you can get specifications on them. Like, how big is the sheet? How deep is it? What are the different variations on it? How does it get attached? All that kind of stuff. Just start to do some research. If you have a material that you're not sure or can't find a lot of information on, maybe there's similar materials out there where you can start to look and find information. So again, you don't have to have all the answers, but you should have started the exploration, right? So let's go ahead and set up the view, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how we're going to produce the drawing. So I have this bar in 3D right here. You can see it, and then here it is right here. And so the first thing I'm going to do is something a little simple. Is I'm going to make it so you can see the wall as a dashed line below this bar top. So I'm going to go to my wireframe view where you can see this wall below the bar top. Then I'm going to go to my view tab and go to show hidden lines. And I'm going to pick the thing I want to show hidden lines through, and then I'm going to pick the thing I want to show as dashed. So I'll click on that. And then if I go back to my hidden line, you'll see that that will show through as a dashed line. So that's just one thing that you can do to maybe help with your visibility. The second thing I want to do is I want to make a section that is perpendicular to this arc. If you have a spline that's a little different, you may need to do a little bit more finessing to do that. But I'm going to go to my architecture and reference plane and use a reference plane as a base for my section. And I could kind of find the midpoint, but I don't know if that's the exact spring point of the arc. So what you can do is right click and go to snap overrides and just go to center. And then hover over the arc, one of the arcs, they're all the same, and left click, and it'll start drawing from the center of that arc. And you can keep the blue alignment line and draw vertically down, and that guy will be, perpendicular when you're looking at it that way, right? So once we have that reference plane, we can go ahead and go to our view and section, and we can draw a section. So I'm just going to left click on the reference plane and draw directly down. It's going to give us a little section there. It's kind of a funky section. It's got this little arrow line thing on it. So I'm going to pick it and come over to this pull down, and I'll just pick the regular building section, right? So it'll update it. And then what we want to do is rename that section. So if we come down and take a look, this should be section 2, I believe, right? So I'll just come in and name this bar, or I'll name it section bar detail. Okay. All right. So we can go ahead and go to that section by double clicking on this guy, and it'll bring up that section. So you can see here I am. There's the floor, there's the earth, there's the bar, right? It's very tall, so I'm just going to come up here and pull that guy way down so it makes it smaller. I'm also going to change the scale. The scale, I think it was 1.5 inches equals a foot, so I'll just go down to the bottom of my view and change that to 1.5 inches equals a foot. And then I'll just keep sort of moving this box in, right, until we get somewhere that we're happy with. Now, we're looking at the section of this bar. This is that little footrest that we put on there. There's the top of the bar, and then it's going back in the distance. So we don't really want to see that distance part of it. So there's a couple of different ways to deal with that. You could go to your plan and pick the section and kind of pull this guy in real close, right? And then if I go back to my bar detail, you see that it's pulled out that distance shot. You can also do it here from the section. You can see this far clip offset. I could set it to 2 inches, right? And it'll just clip that. And then just go ahead and pull this guy in, and you sort of got a place to start. All right, so when we come back, we'll start doing a little bit of detailing.